Café Anyway. Hello there. Welcome to Café Anyway.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. It's FF episode 2856.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2856. It's Mike. And how are you today? Are you getting through the summertime even though it's hot as heck? And it's pretty tough when you're going down the street and you melt into a big pile of puff of the liquid because of the melting.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I guess that it's time to tell you about how there are why stores
Daily
are switching to
Podcast.
electronic shelf labels.
Yeah.
Have you seen that with the electronic shelf labels? Do you like it when someone asks you a question, even though it's a podcast and there's no way that you can actually answer that person because what you're hearing is recorded and or live and happening through waves, radio waves or television, and there's no way to answer to the speaker because you don't have a microphone on your side? Don't you love that? Well, apparently this is when price changes happen, and it helps people for Instacart and Uber Eats find items faster. And apparently that light that flashes is for them. Plus it helps the price cuts on expiring items. It helps people find that. You know, one of the things you should never do on a podcast is sneeze. And you should never talk into a microphone that is apparently allergic to you. But that's it. Starbucks has debuted fruity energy drinks with caffeine equivalents, the equivalent to 6 cans of Coke. That is less than 2 months after Panera discontinued.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Their highly charged, caffeinated, charged lemonade is what it was called. The podcast picture is going to be of the beautiful day by the lake, Lake Elizabeth. Recently, they've been having a bunch of summer concerts. And I went out there to see it, and what was happening? Nothing, no music, because they were busy giving away tickets, raffle tickets. The late great Basil the Boxer did not like raffle tickets because he never won. And there was always a reading of the numbers, and it took forever, and then, like paint drying. So, which is what I liken watching a podcast to. Why do podcasters video themselves? It makes no sense to me. I would love to watch paint dry rather than watch a bunch of guys talking into microphones. But is that just me? I think it is just me. Is it just me that during the debate I thought that this is what it seemed to be? Now, I could be completely wrong, and I have been completely wrong in the past, and I'm okay with that. I've somehow survived. The only time you don't survive when you're completely wrong is when you,
this show is clean.
Think that your car can go through a wall. That's basically when you're wrong. And other such assumptions that can cause something to happen to you and me, however way that expression goes. But the point was that I was trying to make was, and I'm sure other people have said the same thing, and maybe what I'm saying is nothing new, but one particular guy sounded really, really old, and the other guy sounded pretty much the way he's always sounded. So are people going to vote with... Now, I didn't watch the debate.
Woo!
I listened to the debate. I didn't watch it. And, you know, there was a big thing when JFK ran against Nixon. In 1960, there was the first debate that was broadcasted on television. Everybody thought JFK won because he was young, good looking. And everybody listening on the radio thought Nixon won. So there was this whole dichotomy going on. But it did seem to me that it is very difficult for a Democrat to defend the way...
Mike is on it, man.
Man go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
Well, maybe some man has gone here before, but Biden sounded old, and he sounded a lot like my ex-wife's late grandmother, who I loved dearly. I thought she was wonderful. She's a very kind lady, but we lived with her for 3 months, and she sounded a lot like the way Biden sounds today, where he's a very rushed way of talking. You're just kind of whispering and zipping through words, and just kind of doing this kind of thing where you're doing all that. And whereas Trump was loud and clear. I joked to my lovely lady friend that, hey, when the debate was going on, I'm watching this.
This is Mike's podcast picnic.
I was having a podcast picnic, enjoying a little cheese and crackers, because that's oh so healthy. But I was saying to my lovely lady friend, hey, I'm watching this TV show that comes on every 4 years with these two old white guys that yell at each other. It's amazing. It only shows up though every 4 years. I don't think it's going to happen 4 years from now, for obvious reasons. But this was that's okay. So
I got through that. I got into it.
I wasn't watching it though. I was listening to it. I got through it, and it just seemed that Biden sounded old. And it's very difficult for Democrats to defend the way he sounds. It's almost as bad as some of the conservatives that really think that the election was fair last time around, that these leaps in rationalization that people do, it's almost like they're a grim fairy tale the way they're imagining how the election actually...
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Oh, Trump didn't lose. The way they rationalize that is just so fairyland. But I can't see any conservatives that would have any problem with the way Trump sounded during the debate. He sounded loud. He sounded he was clear in making his arguments, whereas Biden sounded like he was fading away. So there was that. The only thing I really applauded Biden for saying was calling Trump a whiner, because that is something I've been doing on this podcast for a long time as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, in the land of Ameritopica. You have heard the segment on this podcast. I think it might have been on the last one, the Whiny White Man Wine List. That is something I've done here at Café Anyway for a long time. And it's my way of poking fun at politicians who are predominantly white, who are predominantly male, and they whine. And it's just whining, whine. And that's what Trump's campaign speeches are. And what he does, what he's been saying about the past elections, about him being convicted, etc. So I agreed with him on that. But, Biden did not sound good. And there's nothing you can do about it. He's just old. And someday we'll be that old, hopefully. Hopefully you get to that age.
You know, I mean, people get stuck on stupid. You know what I mean?
I agree. Maybe I am stuck on stupid. But Amazon's made-up holiday Prime Day will be July 16th through July 17th. It's Amazon's 10th Prime Day, and they have tapped rapper Megan Thee Stallion. She's doing a song called It's Prime Day. What a surprise. Fewer Americans are buying life insurance than in the past, which suggests that households may be at financial risk.
MTV News. You hear it first.
Yes, you hear it first. Kurt Loder would tell you. No, he wouldn't tell you on MTV News, but he would tell you maybe if off camera, off mic. Households may be at financial risk in the event of an unexpected death if they do not have, if Americans are not buying life insurance. About half, 52% of consumers have a life insurance policy in January of 2023. That is down 63% from 2011. Oh, wait, nope.
Fabagoo, things to do.
It is things to do. Now, life insurance, they always say, insure what you can't replace. You don't have the money to replace. So if you have people that depend on you, and you're gone and you're the bread winner, bringer, a homer, then yes, that would make sense for life insurance. But I guess it was 63% had life insurance 2011, now down to 52% in 2023. I find a lot of people selling life insurance are a little sleazy, but that's just me. So maybe that's it. They got to come up with a different way to sell it. Speaking of homes, existing home sales from February through May were at their slowest pace for that period since 2011, back to 2011 year, a very significant year for some reason on this podcast today. Run-ups in mortgage rates, home prices, property insurance, taxes, they have made home ownership very unaffordable right now. And that's interesting when you hear
travel into the incredible universe.
When you hear a headline like that, the first thing you think is, oh, home prices are going down. No. It's the fact that the home prices are not going down and that the mortgage rates are going up and property insurance and taxes are going up. And Gavin Newsom's our governor, so property taxes go up. That's going up. That makes it also a state where people aren't going to buy houses. And that's what Gavin's got in his hands. The home buying season runs through President's Day in February. Or it runs from President's Day in February through the spring and much of the summer. So it started around February 18th and then goes through most of the summer. That's the home buying season. People start buying them homes. Frustrated buyers, sellers can blame mortgage rates that are at around 7%. So sellers, the people trying to sell the homes, have golden handcuffs on. And all that from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He is on the Bay Area the radio airwaves Monday through Friday in the morning. And then he is on Cron Television Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. And he was saying he puts the blame on how moving stinks. Over the past 50 years, we have seen 20% of the population moving every year.
The Royal Trump tweet decree.
Oh, I bet he said, I won that debate hands down. That's what he said. Probably. You know, I still cannot get onto Truth Social. I still don't understand what Truth Social is even. Like, how do you even follow how do you even watch? I don't get it. Anyway, Café Anyway. Over the past 50 years, we have seen 20% of the population moving every year. But that has decreased down all the way to 8.7%. Used to be 20%, now 8.7%. We don't move as much, which is interesting because there used to be this big migration going on into California. Some years it was out of California. Recently, a lot of people moving out of California, it seems. New home sales, which are a minority of all transactions, have held up better. Once lower rates arrive, the lower mortgage rates, they will shake up almost every corner of the housing market. And finally, Shein, S-H-E-I-N, the fast fashion giant, has filed for a public listing. The offering could value the online retailer at about $50 billion. It was founded in China. It crashed onto the fashion scene during COVID-19. It won over consumers with its ability to quickly offer the latest styles at rock-bottom prices, and it's been a thorn in the side of competitors, which have ceded market shares to the digital upstart and have struggled to match its speed. There only are 2 permanent physical stores for this company, Shein, and their physical stores, there's one in Spain and China. No, wait. That's completely wrong. Those aren't, well, one of them was a country. No, they're not in China. They're actually in Japan, and they got a store in Spain. And they don't have any other physical stores. Problems arose as Shein
pretty much
uses raw materials from banned regions, and that has found its way into their supply chain. So that has caused them some problems. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, look who's here. Oh my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega, and I brought you a tomato. Oh, thank you. I love tomatoes, and I have some with the salad and wonderful chicken tenders that I made tonight. It's going to be fantastic. Do you like chicken tenders? Yes. Do you like tofu? Yes. Do you like pumpkins? No. Interesting. We've just named various items.
Bands mutations.
But none of them are going through any bands mutation, so I don't know what that was for. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the big thing attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, you were talking about the debate, and we was playing bingo there.
Yeah, playing bingo. Do you know that? Bingo. That's right. There was bingo being played. And a lot of people that watched the president. I could not understand why a lot of conservatives were complaining that there was not going to be an audience at this debate. Who cares? I've always found those audiences to be annoying. The loud noises, they cheered for the stupidest things. They're just a bunch of sycophants. I hated it. I was so glad that there wasn't any stupid audience. Ugh. However, CNN broke for a commercial break. I know that was announced ahead of time. I completely didn't hear that. I heard it, but it didn't process. And that was weird. That was lame. They should have just gone the hour, did all the questions, and been done, and then gotten into the flying saucer. Oh, and Mayor Shang Tao. Wow. She sent me an email. She said, "Dear subscriber, I don't know what I'm subscribing to." What? That freaked me out. Oh, I think I had once gone onto one of the websites for Oakland so I could get a free booklet to show me places to go in Oakland.
You know, there's a real scary holiday coming up.
And that is the mayor going to jail. No, she said, "I want to address the recent events in our city on Wednesday night." Oh, that's right. So she wasn't talking about herself getting looked at by the FBI. She talked about that horrible shooting that happened at Lake Merritt during Juneteenth. And I was at Lake Merritt on Juneteenth before it became an official holiday a couple years back. I think this was It wasn't Jarrell Nameda, but it was around 2020 when there was the Juneteenth happening, but it wasn't the official holiday yet. And she said, on Wednesday night, a large unsanctioned gathering at Lake Merritt turned violent, and with many people assaulted and over a dozen struck by gunfire. This senseless act of violence is deeply unsettling. We will work tirelessly to hold those responsible accountable. My heart goes out to those injured, their families, and our entire city. The next morning, oh, here we go. The next morning, the FBI raided the home I share with my partner and family. I have and will continue to be transparent and cooperate with this investigation. And then she goes, and it's interesting, she used this press release about the shooting to go into her being raided by the FBI. I want to be clear, I have done nothing wrong. I have not been charged with a crime, and this investigation is not about me. She said, yesterday I spoke directly to the residents of Oakland and shared my version of events. Watch my full statements here. There's a click that, and you'll see things, and I don't want to do that. But she says, nothing will distract me from building on our progress over the last 18 months. Operations of the city have continued without interruption in the capable hands of the amazing city administrator, et cetera, et cetera. Here we go on. There we goes forward, and et cetera. Very interesting. That's how she operates. I did not vote for her. I don't vote for the mayor of Oakland, even though we're just a few miles away from Oakland. But that's, very interesting what's happening locally here. What do you think about all of it? You can call me. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And to catch the podcast picture and catch all the podcasts and catch whatever you want to catch, maybe you want to catch the wonderful past interviews that I've done, or listen to the radio station that I have on there, the Best Obscure Rock Found by Mike Matthews. All that wonderful stuff can be found at mikesdailypodcast.com. And with more information on that, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Here she goes.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.